Every time you buy a modern, minimalist laptop, the adapters and dongles start to pile up on your desk. PC manufacturers stripped away the built-in ports to save space, leaving us to buy third-party adapters just to plug in a basic mouse or flash drive. The obvious fix is an all-in-one USB-C hub. One cable from your laptop, and your desk is instantly organized. But the market is currently flooded with extremely cheap hubs that promise the world, while actually relying on outdated internal chips to keep the price down. They solve the physical problem of missing ports, absolutely. But if you aren't paying attention, they introduce invisible digital bottlenecks that slow down your everyday work. Take a look at the highly popular, budget-friendly 8-in-1 USB-C hub. You get an incredible variety of connections: networking, display output, data transfer, and power pass-through, all handled by one aluminum brick, running everything at once. The catch is simple mathematics. To offer 8 distinct ports for $20, manufacturers have to compromise on the maximum bandwidth each port can handle. That means you can't evaluate a hub by counting the slots. You have to match its specific capabilities to your daily workflow. It really comes down to 2 distinct paths. Do you need absolute maximum speed for professional work, or do you just need basic connectivity to get through standard office tasks? Because if you buy a hub based purely on how many things you can plug into it without checking the quality of those connections, you're going to throttle your own computer. Looking at this graphic for the HDMI port, the manufacturer loudly markets a 4K HD resolution. But look closely at this blue batch next to the laptop. The visual output is hard-capped at a 30 Hz refresh rate. Budget display chips simply cannot process the massive amount of data required to push 4K resolution at higher, smoother frame rates. If you're just watching movies or putting up static slides in a presentation, 30 Hz is perfectly fine. You likely won't notice the cap. But try using a 30 Hz monitor for your daily computer tasks. Your mouse cursor will lag across the screen, and scrolling through web pages becomes choppy and fatiguing on the eyes. This HDMI port is built for media consumption and basic projection. It is not built for professional creative production or video editing. The same limitation applies to the wired network connection via the RJ45 Ethernet port. In this marketing image, you can clearly see it uses a 100M network card. That is the older fast Ethernet standard. It is missing a 0. Most modern premium docks and even your standard home internet router are built for gigabit speeds, which is 1,000 megabits per second. This port has 1/10 of that capacity. A 100 megabit connection is still inherently more stable than Wi-Fi. If you just need a reliable connection for Zoom calls, it gets the job done without dropping. But that severe speed limit becomes a massive bottleneck for file transfers. A software update or video download that should take 5 minutes on gigabit will easily turn into a 50-minute wait.
If you are paying your internet provider for a gigabit connection at home, plugging into this port actively chokes your network down to a fraction of what you're paying for. Then there's the power delivery, or PD, pass-through. This is the feature that lets you charge your laptop through the hub while using all the other ports. This specific spec sheet claims the hub supports 87 watts of PD charging. Yet another diagram from the exact same manufacturer points right to the port and claims it handles 100 watts. Regardless of which marketing graphic is accurate, there is a technical reality to keep in mind. The hub itself consumes roughly 10 to 15 watts of that power just to operate its own internal chips. Because of that internal power drain, if you plug a high-end, power-hungry laptop into this hub and push the processor to its limits, you might actually see your battery slowly drain while it's supposedly plugged into the wall. Finally, we need to look at the standard USB-A ports you use for thumb drives and peripherals. Notice how this graphic uses bracket lines to split these ports into 2 different generations, the older USB 2.0 and the faster USB 3.0. The USB 2.0 ports are perfect for low-bandwidth legacy devices. That's where you plug in your wireless mouse receiver or a basic keyboard. The USB 3.0 ports are absolutely necessary for high-speed data. If you have an external hard drive, you have to deliberately plug it into these specific blue ports. If you make a mistake and plug a fast drive into the 2.0 slot, it won't break the drive, but it will instantly cripple your transfer speeds to early 2000s levels. You can't just blindly jam cables into any open slot on these budget hubs. You have to actively manage and verify your physical connections. Ultimately, this budget hub is a digital Swiss Army knife. It prioritizes giving you a wide variety of tools over giving you the absolute version of any single tool. If we map this out, comparing the bandwidth you need against the variety of ports you require, the picture becomes clear. The 8-in-1 hub drops squarely into the high-variety, low-bandwidth quadrant. For the vast majority of standard office work, typing documents, answering emails, joining conference calls, the difference between these budget specifications and ultra-premium hardware is completely invisible. You don't need to buy the most powerful hub on the market. You just need to buy the one that perfectly scales to your routine, without forcing you to overpay for performance you won't use. So the ideal buyer for this product is the hybrid office worker, the student, or the frequent traveler. If your daily workflow involves a 1080p monitor, spreadsheets, and basic wireless peripherals, the financial return on investment for a $20 hub is unbeatable. However, this hardware will actively hinder video editors, competitive gamers, and people constantly moving massive data files. If that's you, avoid this category entirely. Power users need to bypass budget hubs and invest the money in a premium, dedicated Thunderbolt docking station. A specification is only a bottleneck if your workflow actually demands the missing bandwidth. Choose the tool that matches the